Get ready, Staten Island. It's time to celebrate 5 years of Ferry Hawks baseball.
This week, come out to the ballpark as the Ferry Hawks welcome in the Hagerstown Flying Boxcars at Staten Island University Hospital Community Park for a homestand on June 10th for a 5-game series as the Ferry Hawks welcome in the Hagerstown Flying Boxcars. Individual game tickets start at just $12.
Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi. Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
I mean, ruined by the COVID go home. My oldest missed her prom, her senior pictures, graduation ceremony, all because of that. And she's a rules kid. My oldest kid likes that stuff. Homecoming dance, proms, senior pranks, graduations. She likes all that. Senior photos. She loves all of that. Not her father, but her. My middle kid said at the beginning of her junior year, I'm going to get straight A's to get into college. I'm going to get straight A's. And she was getting straight A's. And then they said, you have to go home. This kid could not learn on Zoom. Could not. Gave up in about an hour and was flunking every class. And only because of a special independent study program they set up was she saved. And my poor autistic apraxia kid, she was in second grade, told to go home, and from second grade till now, she's 14, she's stuck at a second grade reading level because of what happened and because of Zoom. She is now stuck at a second grade reading level. Thanks a lot. Tell me about your experiences in learning about the kids who suffered from COVID and go home.
Well, it's absolutely disgraceful, and what they did was absolutely criminal, and it's terrible. When I started working in the public school system, I started right after COVID. So one of the things I noticed very early on was when I was working as a substitute teacher, and I would have the children sign in their name for attendance. And I would look down at the paper, and I noticed immediately that what I saw wasn't normal. The kids, their handwriting, it looked like something out of second grade. So they had missed just basic building blocks of their education, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And then just to make matters worse, we encountered a boy. This was in a class that we were teaching, and he was 14 years old, and he could not spell the word airplane. He had like two different ways of spelling the word airplane. He spelled it one way, it was AIRPANE. Then the other way was AIRPANNE. And I documented all of this in my book, Sex, Drugs, and Literacy, The Death of Education in America. This kid, he was 14. He had no idea of how letters work. He had no perception of phonics for the word. Let's say the cat walked across the street, that sentence. He would ask, where does the H go in the word the? Where does the A go in the word cat? He had absolutely no idea of just how basic letters work. So what I saw was a complete and total breakdown across the board. And these children were dealt a very ill hand at the hands of course, Dr. Fauci, who lobbied to have the kids out of school as long as possible, and Randy Weingarten, the crazy American Federation of Teachers president for the National Teachers Union. So we saw all that. And here locally in Chicago, the Teachers Union, they purposely did not want to go back to class. They were on beaches in Aruba. They were in Cancun. They were in Mexico. They were everywhere but where they needed to be, which was in that classroom, having their behinds in that classroom with those kids. They essentially extorted the kids of Chicago, and they would not go back unless they got ventilators, unless they got air conditioning. They said they wanted hand sanitizing stations. They wanted every single thing, and there was always an extra thing that they wanted that they would use to up the ante to make sure that they could stay out as long as possible, and the children really suffered for it.
The teachers union is the worst union ever, because even though it said, well, the powerful teachers union, I always say, well, if they're so powerful, why are 40% of the classrooms in America not air conditioned? The worst bar in Chicago has 50-degree air conditioning every day. The worst bar has the best air conditioning. 40% of the classrooms in Chicago are not air conditioned. Oh, and it's June. How's that going right now in June? It's a terrible union. They have not helped their teachers get better working conditions.
No.
What happened when...
Oh,
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Yes. I was just going to say, they don't do anything that the children need. They don't advocate for anything that they need. Last month, if you all saw, actually a month ago yesterday, we had what was called May Day around the country, where they were, the teachers' unions were sponsoring kids to go out in the streets and take to the streets and protest all the politics and any pet political project you can think of. They wanted them to protest, yet these children can't read. 20% of the kids in Chicago Public Schools, CPS, cannot read at grade level, yet they were teaching them how to say F President Trump and F ICE and everything else, and the videos were going viral like crazy, and we had mass walkouts. They were actually busing kids, without parental consent, mind you, busing kids to local protests. So that's just how far it's just declined here in Chicago. And one thing I talk about specifically in my book was a day that we witnessed where it all sort of came to a head. It was ACT testing day, so it was standardized testing, and they had to take the kids' phones from them. So, these kids, they essentially come out the womb with the phone now, right? So they had to take their phones from them, and the kids, they had a meltdown. This was at Hillcrest High School in Country Club Hills, Illinois, which is where I taught, which is about 10 minutes from the Chicago county line. So the kids, they melted down. They were freaking out. They were swearing, throwing stuff across the room, ready to flip over the desk. Long story short, a 3-hour test. They were supposed to get out at 12 noon. It took them 7 hours to take a 3-hour test. The school ended up keeping them there until 3:10 p.m., which is the longest time that they can legally keep the kids there. So all of the chickens had come home to roost in that one moment. And honestly, it was glorious to watch, because this was a culmination of 4 years of BS. These kids didn't learn anything. And then their feet were finally put to the fire. And all of the administrators who have coddled them, who make life difficult for people like me, who sent me down to HR when I worked at Tinley Park High School, they sent me down to HR for writing up too many kids. They said I was creating unnecessary tension and rubbing people the wrong way in the dean's office for essentially doing their job and saying, hey, you're not going to be coming in my room acting that certain type of way. I'm going to hold you to a standard. So all of the chickens came home to roost, and it was a beautiful, beautiful sight that day on ACT testing day.
Gino Young, the author of a book about the horrors of COVID and its impact on your kids, my kids. The most important thing that you and I can learn, without question, is the ability to read. If you and I can't read, there is no future. There is no hope. About what percent of kids, based on the conversation we just had, Gino Young, about what percent of the kids in the Chicago Public Schools cannot read? Forget about grade level. They just can't read.
Oh, well, I mean, if it's 20% at grade level, I would probably say it's probably double that just flat out cannot read. I know at the school that I worked at particularly, they have, it fluctuates between a 5% and a 7% literacy rate. This was at Hillcrest High School. So the kids are completely illiterate. They can't read. Some of them can't even write. They don't know how to sign their names. They don't know basic phonics. And I'm telling you, it's a very, very scary place if we're raising up a populace that simply cannot do the most simple rudimentary task that you have to have just to function. You're going to have an entire population of functioning illiterates who will be easily controlled because they can't even sign their name. They don't even know. I mean, someone can swindle them out of anything because they go for anything. Unless it's on TikTok or unless they hear it from an influencer, they don't get it.
Gino Young, what is the name of your book?
My book is called Sex, Drugs, and Illiteracy, The Death of Education in America.
When did it come out?
It came out January 20th, so just about almost 6 months ago now.
All right. Can I buy it on Amazon? Where can I buy it?
Yes, you can get it directly on Amazon, or if we sell out on Amazon, which sometimes we do, you can get it at my website, www.ginoyoung.net. That's GENOYOUNG.net. But Amazon.com, they have the book.
You better give the title again, because I know Midnight Misfits are going to want to buy this book.
Yes, Sex, Drugs, and Illiteracy. And by the way, I'm 29 years old, and I wrote this book when I was 28. So I spent like the last year doing this. I turned 30 this month.
Congratulations for putting a lie to everything I say to callers who call in and say they're 70. I always say to them, you know, people who are on here who are 28 do not give their age. Why are you telling me you're 70? But Gino, you have ruined my argument. You've ruined my talk show speech to convince people to not give their age. Gino, this is a tremendous amount of work, and I congratulate you. And I also congratulate you for your ambition to get on this show, which nobody gets on. Congratulations. Good for you. And that means I'm going to have you on again. Are you willing to go through this again?
Absolutely. I'm up late anyway. Might as well hang out with you, you know.
And Gino Young is listening on WGN in Chicago. Congratulations on getting a book published. That's a very big deal. Congratulations for working your way through the public school system in the Chicago area and coming out alive. But boy, it is a scary story. We are generating a generation of kids who can't friggin' read, and the genesis, the origin story, is the hell of the COVID management. The COVID management, which was a lie and a scam and made me incredibly sick and made my kids incredibly insecure and a little dumber. I'm Walter Sterling, and thank you, Gino Young.